There we go. Okay, so we're recording now, y'all. And guys, the other thing I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to grab my multiplication table, y'all, because I'm going to use that as well today. Okay. So, y'all, as I know we've been here a couple of weeks already, right? This is our second week. We just have really today and tomorrow. Yo, one thing I hope that you guys are noticing is I'm going through this. I've been using my multiplication table pretty frequently. Um, Now, y'all, when it comes down to the TSI test, I don't think they're going to provide one for you, and I don't think you can take one in. But one thing I would encourage you to do is like this table that I gave you here. See if you can, like, guys. This is what I would do. I would go like this, like go to Google and let's say blank multiplication chart, something like this, right? Okay, and just click on any of these here, right? Let's click on this guy and just see what it kind of does. Let's see. Oh, come on. Is this it here if I hit it? Yeah. Okay, so maybe something more like this. Trying to find one that I can actually click on and print. Let's see. Okay, so something like this, y'all, right? This looks like it's a Pinterest thing, but you understand my point. But guys, what I would do is see if you can fill one out that's 1 through 12, right? So like the zeros we know, right? And sorry, and the ones should be pretty easy, and the twos most people can do, right? And the fives and the tens and the 11s are the easy ones as well, right? But what I would tell you is see if you can do that. Simply because, y'all, it's going to make the process easier when you're taking your test if you really know those multiplication facts, okay? But anywho, let's do this. Let's go ahead and get started with the factoring. And y'all, when we're factoring polynomials, the first thing we're going to talk about is something called the GCF. Y'all, the GCF stands for something called the greatest common factor. Okay. Y'all, the greatest, we're talking about the biggest. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to look at the two pieces that I have. And I'm going to say, hey, is there a number that goes both into 5 and into 35, right? So, y'all, if I were to come back to my multiplication table, I'm looking at either numbers in the same column or numbers in the same row. But I see 5 and 35, and I see them in the fives. So 5 goes into 5 once, and 5 goes into 35 7 times. Okay? So, y'all, what that means is we can take out the 5. If I take out the 5 from here, I'm still left with the x. Now, you don't have to write it, but y'all, I want you to understand the number in front of that x is a 1, right? Because 5 times 1 gives me 5. Plus, 5 goes into 35 7 times. And this is my answer. So what we're kind of doing here, y'all, in factoring is we are kind of going in reverse from what we did yesterday. So yesterday we would have had a problem that kind of looked like this. And we would say, well, look, we're going to take 5 times x, 5x, 5 times 7, 35. Now we're going backwards. It's like we have the answer. We're trying to go back and find the question. Okay. All right. So, y'all, I'm going to do the same thing with the next one here. And I'm looking at 24 and 6. Okay. And we're going to look at 24 and 6, and we're going to see what's the biggest number that goes into both of them. So, sorry, I'm trying to get my table. Okay. So 24 and 6. Let's see. Where do I see a 6? I see a 6 right here. And guess what? I see a 24 right here. So the 3s are there. Yeah, that's good. Let's see. Y'all, in my 2s, here's a 6, and there's a 24 as well. But y'all, in my 6s, here's my 6, and here's my 24. Now, we are looking for the greatest common factor. So we're looking for the biggest number we can take out. So the biggest number we can take out, y'all, was really the number 6. Okay. So 6 goes into 24 4 times, and I still got that x, minus, because there's a minus here, 6 goes into 6 1 time. And this is the process that we're going to be doing, y'all, when we're factoring, okay? So, y'all, the next problem here has x to the 4th plus 5x to the 3rd. So what I want to think about is, how many x's do I have here? Well, it's nice, right? Because they tell me, look, there's 4 of them. And how many x's do I have here? I have 3 of them. I'm trying to figure out what's the most number of x's that I can take from both of them. Well, the most number of x's I can take, y'all, is the amount of x's that I have here, because that one is 3, and that's the most that I can take from both of them. Okay, so look, y'all, I'm going to take an x to the third. Now, again, how many x's did we used to have? We used to have 4, but we took away 3 of them. Y'all, I'm still left with 1 of them, right? Plus, now if I come back over here, if we took away that x to the third, y'all, we're still left with our 5, okay? When it comes to the x's, y'all, we're going to look at the powers that we have, and between the two, or sometimes we might even have a third one, we're going to take the one that has the smallest power. So we're going to take the x to the third. And the reason, again, we're taking the x to the third, we're looking for the most that we can take out. And I can't take out 4 when this guy only has 3, but we can take all 3 of them, okay? All right. Y'all, in the next one that I have here, I'm going to do the same thing. So the first thing is between 3 and 27, y'all, we can take out a 3. Between my x's, x to the 5th and x squared, we can take out 2 of them, okay? So we got that. Let's see, what else were we left with? We took away our 3. We had 5 x's, and we took away 2. That means that we're still left with 3 of them, okay? Y'all, 3 goes into 27 9 times. We had 2 x's, and we took them out, so we don't have any more x's over there, okay? All right. So, y'all, again, the process of what I'm trying to do here is factor, right? Trying to take out the biggest number and the most number of x's or y's or whatever it is we happen to have, okay? So let me scroll down a little bit further, and let's take a look at this next one. So the first thing I notice about both those pieces is that they both have the letter y. So I'm going to take the letter y out because they both have it. Now, if we took away the y from here, look, y'all, we're left with an x. Plus, because there's a plus here. If I take away the y from there, y'all, I still got a plus 3. Okay. And that's going to be my answer. Okay. So again, y'all, looking for the biggest common factor. Let me scroll down a little bit further. And y'all, this problem is kind of similar to the one we did before. The first thing I want you to notice, they both have a y plus 6. So I'm going to put that y plus 6 here in the front. Now, y'all, if I take away this y plus 6, I still have that x. And if we take away this y plus 6, we still have that plus 3. Okay. All right. Let me scroll down a little bit further. Same thing here, y'all. Come down over here and I'm going to say, look, they both have a z to the third minus 6. So let's take that guy out. Okay. Now, again, y'all, if we take away this one, still left with an r. If I take away this one, I'm left with a plus. I got to be left with a plus something. Y'all, if we don't see it, the number in front of that is a 1. So I'm left with that plus 1 there. Okay. All righty. So let me keep scrolling down here. Okay, y'all, the second thing we're going to talk about here is something called factoring by grouping. Okay, y'all, I really like factoring by grouping because it's a process that I'm going to be able to apply for all the factoring problems that we're going to have today. Okay, and so what factoring by grouping says, y'all, is we're going to just look at the first 2 pieces here. So let me write it right here, y'all. X to the third plus 2x squared. I'm just looking at that. Okay, and I'm going to say, what can I take from both of them? The smallest power of the x. We can take out an x squared. We're left with an x plus 2 because we used to have 3 x's. We took away 2. We're left with 1 of them. If we took away that x squared, we're still left with a plus 2. Okay. Now, I'm going to look at the second 2 pieces. Plus 5x plus 10. So what number goes into both of them? The number 5. Y'all, the other thing I want you to notice, if there's a plus right here, I'm going to put a plus right here, okay? So look, if we take away the 5 from here, y'all, we still got that x. And 5 goes into 10 times 2 times, okay? Now, y'all, if we did this right, that means that that piece there and that piece there match up, which they do. So we're going to take away that x plus 2. Now remember we said if we take away this x plus 2, still got my x squared. And if I take away that x plus 2, I still have my plus 5. And we're done. Okay. It's always going to be the first two pieces, and then it's going to be the last two pieces. Okay. And again, we're going to do this sort of where we're going to say, let's group the first two, the second two. And we know we're doing it right, y'all, is if that piece there and that piece there are going to match up. And I'll tell you something, they're always going to match up, okay? And if they don't, one of two things happen. Either we made a small mistake, or sometimes the problem we just can't factor, okay? Let's take a look at the next one. Y'all, I'm going to look at these two guys right here. I'm going to say, you know what? I can divide them both by 5. So let's take that 5 out. Take that 5 out. We still got an x. Yo, 5 goes into 15 3 times, okay? And then I'm going to look at these two guys. Okay, first thing I notice, there's a plus. Let me write that plus. They both have the letter y. So if I take out this y, y'all, we still got an x. If I take out that y, I still got a plus 3, okay? And I want you to notice, hey, look, they're lining up, right? That's exactly what we want. So I'm going to go ahead and take out that x plus 3 that's common to both. And if I take away this x plus 3 here, still got a 5. And if I take away this x plus 3 right here, still got a plus y. Okay. All right. So, yo, again, this is my process when I'm factoring. Now, y'all, one thing I'm going to mention about the TSI test is the test is adaptive, okay? So as you're going through it, you know, you may see a bunch of factoring problems. You may see only one or two. And if you only see like a couple, that means they probably said, you know what, you know how to factor. We're going to go on to something else, okay? Y'all, for a problem like this one here, typically what I do is the first thing I want you to notice, look at the order of my x's. X to the third, but then x squared comes over here, and then this guy is the x, and there's a number. So usually what I do, y'all, is I rewrite it like this. 16x to the third minus 28x squared plus 12x minus 21. So I'm just writing it so that it's in order, right? So like my x's are kind of in the right order, okay? So right here, y'all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, look, what can I take out of both of those? So I got a 16 and a 28. Okay, so y'all, I'm going to come back to my multiplication table. Here it is. Multiplication table. Okay, what did we say we had? 16 and 28. Okay, so let's see. 16 and 28. Here's 16, but there's no 28 there. Let's see. 16. Here's 16, and here's 28. So look, y'all, we can divide them both by 4. Okay. So, y'all, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take out a 4, and then I'm going to take the smallest of the two x's, x squared. So, y'all, 4 goes into 16 4 times. We used to have 3 x's. We took away 2. We're still left with one of them. 4 goes into 28 7 times. We took away both those x's. Okay. Now, over here, y'all, first thing I want you to notice, I got a plus, so there's my plus, right? Okay, 12 and 21. Y'all, let's take a look. 12 and 21. Here's a 12. Hey, look, there's a 21 also. It's in the 3s, okay? So, y'all, we can see. There we go. We can divide, we can factor out a 3. So 3 goes into 12 4 times. And 3 goes into 21 7 times. Okay. And so now at this stage, y'all, they're matching up. 4x minus 7, and then 4x squared plus 3. Okay. All right. So, y'all, I'm hoping this is making sense as I'm going through. Let's try the next one, and we'll see what we can do here. So, y'all, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to look at these two pieces, okay? And I'm going to say, okay, do they both have anything in common? Well, look, y'all, they both got an x. So let's take out an x. So we have 8. We used to have 2 x's. We took away one of them. There's still an x there. We had a 7xy, but we took out the x. We still have that 7y. Okay. Now, over here, y'all, if I look at these two things, I don't see anything in common to both, right? But we can always factor out the number 1. And when we factor out the number 1, y'all, nothing changes, okay? So this gives me an 8x plus 7y because that's what's common to both. And then I'm still left with this x, and I'm still left with this plus 1, okay? All righty. Let's see. Let's keep moving down here. Okay, we got a couple more factoring by grouping problems. Y'all, I'm going to take a look at this piece right here, okay? So first thing I want us to take a look at is, okay, is there a number that goes into both 4 and 8? Yeah, 4 does, right? And, y'all, they both have the letter X, okay? So look, we already took away the 4. We had 2 X's. We took one of them out. There's still an X there. Minus, let's see, 4 goes into 8 2 times. We took out the X, but we're still left with a Y, okay? Now, y'all, over here, the first thing I want you to notice, there's a minus sign there. If there's a minus sign there, y'all, I got to put a minus sign over here, okay? And I'm going to say, okay, what is common to 3 and 6? Y'all, 3 is, okay? But let's take a look. We're taking out not just a 3, y'all, we're taking out a minus 3. So that X is still going to be there. But now when I get to this step, I'm taking the number 6 and I'm dividing it by a negative 3. Y'all, that's really a minus 2y. Because if you think about it, negative 3 times negative 2 would give me that positive 6, right? So that's why it has to be a minus 2y, okay? Now, notice here, y'all, and here. Those pieces do match up. So that's my common factor. Let's take it out. X minus 2y. And then here, y'all, I still have a 4x and a minus 3. Okay. All right. Let's see. What else do we got over here? Okay. So, y'all, the second thing we're going to do here, we're going to talk about how do we factor trinomials. So, y'all, when we're factoring trinomials of the type x squared plus bx plus c, the one thing I want to mention about these types of problems, here, y'all, the number in front of the x squared in all of these problems, y'all, is going to be a 1, okay? Because it says it's just x squared, okay? So the number here is a 1. Y'all, what we're going to do is we're going to still factor by grouping, okay? The only thing is, in grouping, y'all, we always had 4 terms. And if you notice here, we only have 3. So I'm going to walk you through the process and how we're going to do this. I'm going to take the first number times the last number, okay? So 1 times 8, y'all, that's going to give me 8. I'm going to look at the numbers that I know multiply to 8. Well, 1 and 8 and 2 and 4, okay? Now, I want to find the pair of those numbers, y'all, that if I were to add them together, I would get the number 6. And guess what? 2 and 4 are going to add up to 6, right? So this is what we're going to do now. We're going to write this x squared. Instead of me writing a 6x, I'm going to write it as a 2x plus a 4x plus 8. Now, where did I get the 2 and the 4? From those numbers right there. And notice, y'all, if I were to combine them, I would still get that number 6, okay? I don't want to combine them just yet, y'all, because now we got 4 terms. So I can come back over here and I can say, look, what do they both have? Hey, they both got an x. Here's an x plus 2. What can I take out of both of these? Oh, we can take out a plus 4. And I'm left with an x plus 2. Okay. So now, y'all, from here, I got an x plus 2. And I have an x plus 4. And I'm done. Okay. So y'all, I really like the method of grouping because I can do grouping with every problem, okay? Look, let's try a couple more to make sure that we're good, okay? So y'all remember, the number in front of that x squared is a 1. So I'm going to multiply the first number and the last number. 1 times 30 is 30, okay? Y'all, I'm going to think of all the numbers that I know that multiply to 30. Well, 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6, okay? I'm looking for the pair, y'all, that if I were to add them together, I would get the number 11. Well, hey, 5 and 6 are those numbers, right? So let's try this. Let's rewrite this, x squared. Instead of us writing an 11x, y'all, let's write a 5x and a plus 6x, and then we still had that plus 30 at the end, okay? But again, the reason why we're doing this, y'all, is so that we can get our 4 terms. So look, if I look at these two, what do they both have? Hey, they both got an x, and we're left with an x plus 5. And if I say, okay, between 6 and 30, what can I take out? We can actually take out a 6, okay? And we got an x plus 5. And again, that piece there and that piece there match up, so we know we did this right. So look, y'all, we got an x plus 5 in the front, and then we have an x plus 6, boom, at the end, okay? All right, so again, y'all, the process of grouping works really well, and it allows me to factor polynomials, right? And when I was told, so y'all, a few years ago, like right now, we still offer Math 100. A few years ago, we used to offer Math 200, and we would go through all this stuff. And I would tell my students, look, y'all, if you can learn the method of grouping, you can factor pretty much any problem that you got because it's always going to work, right? The same process is going to work, okay? So let me scroll down a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing here, y'all. So remember, the number in front of my x squared is a 1, so I'm going to take 1 times 9. Well, 1 times 9 is 9. So the numbers that multiply to 9, y'all, are 1 and 9 and 3 and 3. Now, I'm looking for the pair of numbers, y'all, that's going to add up to, in this case, a negative 6. Well, y'all, these guys over here, add up to 6. But I don't want a 6. I want a negative 6. But, y'all, we could do this. We could make both of them negative. That still gives me a positive 9. And there's my negative 6, okay? So look, y'all, we're going to go like this. X squared minus 3x plus 9. Now, right here, y'all, I can take out my x minus 3. Over here, the first thing I see, y'all, is a negative. So I'm going to take out a negative 3. If I take out the negative 3, I'm still left with the x. Now, remember, for the second part, y'all, I'm taking 9 and I'm dividing it by negative 3. That's still another negative 3, right? Okay, this piece here match up? Yes. X minus 3 from here. And guess what? Another x minus 3 from here. Y'all, you got two options. You can write it like this, or you can write it like that because it's the same factor being squared, right? Okay, let's see what else we got here, y'all, for factoring. Okay, let's try this next one here. First thing I'm going to do, y'all, put the number 1 right here. Okay, so 1 times negative 20. Negative 20. Okay, y'all, I'm going to think of the numbers that I know that multiply to 20. I know it's going to be negative. We'll fix that in a minute. 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. Okay, now, y'all, the number in front of my x is a negative 1, right? So I want to see, is there any way I can get a negative 1 out of these pairs of numbers? Yeah, right here, y'all. If we make that a positive 4 and a minus 5, remember what this means. I have $4, but I owe you 5. And if I owe you $5 and I only have 4, I still owe you 1, right? So look, y'all, right here, I'm going to write x squared, a plus 4x, a minus 5x, and a minus 20. Okay. All right, right here, y'all, I'm going to have an x, and I'm going to have an x plus 4. And then over here, y'all, first thing I see is a minus, right? So I'm going to take out, y'all, we can divide them both by 5. So if I take out the minus 5 from here, I've still got an x. Now remember, y'all, I'm taking negative 20 divided by negative 5. Boom, that's a positive 4. Okay. So y'all, right here, these pieces match up. So we got our x plus 4. And then over here, we still have our x minus 5. Okay. Okay. So let's see. We got another one here, y'all. Let's try this guy. Again, first thing I'm going to do, y'all, put a 1 right here. 1 times negative 32, still a negative 32. Okay, so again, I'll worry about the negative in a minute. I think of the numbers that multiply to 32. 1 and 32, 2 and 16, 3 doesn't go in, 4 and 8, and I think that's it. Okay, y'all, the number in front of my x is a positive 4. I want to see if I can get a positive 4 out of any of these numbers. Y'all, right here, look. Since we're trying to get a negative 32, if we make that a negative 4 and a positive 8, there's my negative 32. And if I owe you $4 and I have 8, I'm still left with the 4 that I have over there. Okay, so look, let's write this out. X squared minus 4x plus 8x minus 32. Again, y'all, I'm just using those numbers right there, okay? So from here, y'all, if I look at them, we're like, hey, look, we got our x, right? So let's take that out, x minus 4. Over here, y'all, that's a plus. So I'm going to put a plus 8, x minus 4 again. And hey, they match up. So let's take out that x minus 4. And we are left with an x plus 8. Okay. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Let's see. Scroll down a little bit further. Okay. I'm just curious. I'll see here. We got what kind of problems we still got here. Okay. Yeah, we're doing great. Okay, so y'all, for this next problem here, y'all, what I'm going to go ahead and do is, again, I'm going to rewrite the problem, y'all. So I'm going to put a t squared coming first, and then a plus 10t, and then a minus 24. Okay, I want to put it in order. Now, remember, y'all, the number here is a 1, right? So look, I'm going to go 1 times negative 24. Yeah, it's a negative 24. Okay, so we'll think about what numbers we want to get. So look, y'all, I'm going to go 1 and 24. I'm going to go 2 and 12. 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Okay, now, so y'all, first thing is I need to get a negative 24. So in each of these numbers here, one of them has to be negative and one has to be positive. The other thing is I want them to add up to the number 10. Now, y'all, a lot of times people say, look, why don't we go 4 and 6? That's going to give me 10. Yeah, it would give me 10, but I'm trying to get a negative 24. So one of those numbers would have to be negative. And if I put the negative in one of those spots, y'all, I'm not going to get a 10 anymore. Okay. So I need to put the negative on my 2 and the positive on my 12. And it still multiplies to a negative 24. And if I have $12 and I owe you 2, there's my 10. Okay. So just be careful with the numbers, y'all, because sometimes it can be easy to kind of make that mistake. And, hey, we can make mistakes, but let's try not to make them on the test, right? Okay, minus 24. So y'all, right here, I'm going to take out the letter t, and we got a t minus 2. And right here, y'all, I'm going to take out the number 12, and I still got a t minus 2. And again, we're doing this the right way because they are matching up. And so we got a t minus 2. And once we take those out, we're still left with a t and a plus 12. Okay. All righty. Y'all, for the next problem that I got here, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down a little bit. Okay. Y'all, the first thing I want you to notice about this particular problem is what I'm going to do, y'all. I'm going to look at all 3 pieces because the first thing I notice, y'all, the number in front of my z squared is not a 1. Okay. But the number in front of my z squared is a 2. And we can take a 2 out of everything that we have here. So if I take away the 2 from here, Look, y'all, we got a z squared. 2 goes into 20, 10 times. 2 goes into 32, 16 times. Okay. Y'all, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this 2 and I'm going to put it down over here. Okay. Now, what I'd like to do, y'all, is I'm just going to look at what we had inside. Okay. And I'm going to say, look, do I know how to, inside the parentheses, do I know how to factor that? Yeah, because look, that number is a 1. So 1 times 16 is 16. The numbers that I know multiplied as 16 are 1 and 16, 2 and 8, and 4 and 4. And y'all, I'm looking for the pair that's going to add up to 10. Looks like 2 and 8 are my magic numbers, right? So look, y'all, let's write this out. Z squared plus 2z plus 8 plus 16. Okay. Right here, y'all, we can take out that letter z. We're left with a z plus 2. Over here, that's a plus, so I'm going to put a plus. We can take out the number 8, and that's a z plus 2. And we can say, hey, look, we did this right because those pieces match up. So here is my z plus 2. Let me fix that. And then the other one is going to be a z plus 8. And we still had that 2 in front of it, y'all, because that was part of my original problem. Okay. So, y'all, when I have something like this, all I'm going to do is once I take that one piece out, I'm just going to kind of carry it down over here to the bottom because I know I'm going to use it again, but I'm not going to use it until the very, very end. Okay. All right. So, y'all, I'm going to scroll down a little bit more. Okay. And we're going to try this next one here. So let's do this, y'all. Let's take a look at what we got here. Okay, first thing again, I noticed, y'all, the number in front, not a 1, right? But it's a 3. Not only that, y'all, it's a 3x to the third, but they all have an x in there, y'all. So look, let's do this. Let's take out a 3 and an x. Okay. So we took away the 3. There it is. We had 3 x's. We took away 1. We're still left with 2 of them. Okay. 3 goes into 24, y'all, 8 times. We used to have 2 x's. We took away 1. We're still left with 1. 3 goes into 36 12 times. We had an x, but we took it out. Okay. So, y'all, just like we did before, I'm going to take this 3x and write it down here. Okay. Now, I'm going to look at what we got inside. X squared minus 8x plus 12. Remember, y'all, the number right there is a 1. So we're going to say, what's 1 times 12? 1 times 12, y'all, is still 12. I'm going to think of the numbers that I know that multiplied at 12, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. We're trying to get the number negative 8. Y'all, we can make both that 2 and that 6 negative. That's still going to give me a positive 12, but that's going to add up to a minus 8. Okay. So look, let's write it like this. X squared minus 2x minus 6x and a plus 12. Okay. We can take out an x from here. We're left with an x minus 2. Y'all, right here, the first thing I see is a minus. So I'm going to put a minus. Y'all, 6 goes into both. Okay. So if I take the 6 out from here, that's an x. 12 divided by negative 6 is a minus 2. Okay. Look, y'all, x minus 2's match up. Boom, there it is, x minus 2. And then my second factor, y'all, x minus 6. Okay. All right. So, y'all, as we're going through these, I hope they're making some sense. Let's try something here, y'all. I want you guys, if you can, do me a favor. Let's see if y'all can do this one here together, and I'll give you a hint. Remember, y'all, my first step, 1 times 36 is 36, okay? Y'all, remember how I'm going to do this. 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, so on and so forth. Okay, y'all, I want to see if you can find the pair of numbers that's going to add up to 15, and then see what we can do from there, and then we'll check our answers together, okay? All right, so y'all, did anybody use these numbers here, 3 and 12, so that we can write x squared plus 3x plus 12x plus 36? And out of here, we could factor out an x, and we were left with an x plus 3. And over here, we can take out a 12, and again, we're left with an x plus 3. So here's our x plus 3. And then over here, y'all, we got our x and our plus 12, right? Boom, and then we're done. Okay. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so look, y'all, I got one more here, and then we're going to do a different type of factoring problem, y'all, and then we'll take a little break, okay? So, y'all, this problem here, again, same process, right? Look, we're going to take 1 times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So, y'all, remember, I'm looking for the numbers that multiply to 2. Well, the only numbers that I know multiply to 2 are 1 and 2. But, y'all, we're trying to get them to add up to 5. And those numbers are not going to add up to 5. What we say here, y'all, is that this problem is not factorable. Okay. Every now and then, y'all, every now and then, not very often, but every now and then we get a problem where we just can't factor it. Okay. And that problem is one of those problems, right? We just can't factor it. It's just not going to happen. Okay. So again, y'all, I seriously doubt, I don't think that you're going to have anything like that on your TSI test, but in the event that something isn't working out and you've tried it a couple of times, like, you know what, it just isn't working out, one of your choices could be, hey, it's not factorable. Sometimes, y'all, the other word they use for it is prime. Prime just means it can't be broken down. And if that's the case, then that's what we'll put. Okay. Now, y'all, for the next part that I have here, I'm going to do these problems exactly the same way I did the other ones. The only thing here that's different, y'all, is that the number in front of the x squared is not a 1. But it doesn't matter. I'm still going to do it the same way. I'm going to take the first number times the last number. So 8 times 5, y'all, 40. I'm going to think of all the numbers that I know that multiply to 40. Okay. I'm going to stop right there because I think those are all the numbers that I know multiply to 40. I'm looking for the pair, y'all, that are going to add up to, in this case, a negative 14. Well, y'all, if we make that a minus 4 and a minus 10, that still gives me my positive 40, and there's my minus 14, okay? So look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to write 8x squared minus 4x minus 10x plus 5. Okay, so right here, y'all, I'm going to say, okay, what number is going to go into both of those? Well, 4 is going to go into both of those, and we can also take out an x, okay? So look, y'all, 4 goes into 8 2 times. We had 2 x's. We took away 1. I'm still left with a 1. Minus 4 goes into 4 1 time, and we took out the x, so there's no x there. Okay. Y'all, I'm going to look over here. First thing I see is a negative, so I'm going to put a negative. What number goes both into 10 and 5? 5 does. Negative 10 divided by negative 5, positive 2. There's an x. Positive 5 divided by negative 5, minus 1. Y'all, I want you to notice here, this piece here and that piece there are exactly the same. So look, y'all, 2x minus 1. And then my second factor, 4x minus 5, right? And we're done. The process, y'all, the way we did it exactly the same way as we did the others. We multiplied the first number and the last number. Whatever number that was, we looked at all the pairs of numbers, and we found the ones that are going to add up to the number in the middle, right? And so again, y'all, this is the process on what we're doing when we're going through these types of problems, okay? So again, the process is always going to be the same. And that's why, y'all, I said, when I would teach this stuff to my classes, I would say, guys, grouping works so well, okay? Let's try this, y'all. Let's try this next one here. 7x squared minus 4x minus 11. Okay, so again, first step, y'all, 7 times negative 11, negative 77. Y'all, there's not a lot of numbers that multiply to 77, like 1 and 77 and 7 and 11. Okay. Y'all, I'm looking for the pair that's going to give me a -4. Well, if we make that a +7 and a -11, there's my -4. So 7x squared plus 7x minus 11x minus 11. Okay. So y'all, right here, let's see, what can we take out? We can take out a 7x. We are left with an x and a +1. Okay. Over here, y'all, first thing I see is a minus. I'm going to take out a -11. If I take out a -11 from there, y'all, I'm still left with an x. -11 divided by another -11 is still a +1, right? Okay. And then right here, y'all, I got an x plus 1 because that's my common factor. And we have a 7x minus 11. Okay. And there we go. Good, good, good. So, y'all, again, the idea here is that when I'm going through these problems, again, the process is still going to be the same. Y'all, for this next problem, before I do this one here, first thing I want to notice, all of those numbers, y'all, I know we're still going to do the first and the last, but all those numbers, we can divide them by 2, meaning we can factor a 2 out from the beginning. So look, y'all, 2 goes into 6 3 times, 3x squared. 2 goes into 2 1 time, minus 1x. 2 goes into 20 10 times. Now, just like we did before, y'all, I'm going to put that 2 all the way down here. All right, so look, y'all, we got a 3x squared, a minus 1x, and a minus 10. Still going to do the same thing. Multiply the first and the last. So 3 times -10, y'all, -30. Okay. Let's see, what else do we got here? So we got to find the numbers that multiply to 30. 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. Y'all, I'm looking for the pair that's going to give me a -1. So look, what about a +5 and a -6? There's my -30. If I have $5, but I owe you 6, I still owe you 1. Okay. So y'all, I'm going to rewrite this. 3x squared plus 5x minus 6x minus 10. From here, y'all, the only thing I can take out is the letter x. I'm left with a 3x plus 5. Okay. Y'all, right over here, first thing I see, that piece is negative. So I'm going to put a negative. Between 6 and 10, y'all, we can take out a 2. Okay. So 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. Okay. And they're both positive because we took out a -2. Okay. And y'all, that 3x plus 5, hey, there's my magic factor, right? Boom. So once we take those guys out, the other factor we have, x minus 2, right? And we got it. Okay. So again, y'all, the factoring, some people struggle with it. Y'all, the one thing that always helps me, oops, sorry, I was trying to get a highlighter here, is making my, oh, come on, pen, here we go, is making my table, right? And guys, notice when I make my table, I'm trying to go in order. So I go like 1 in the number and 2 in the number and 3, and you know what I mean? I'm not kind of like jumping around all over the place. I just try to go like systematically, find my pairs of numbers, and then just look for the right one. I don't worry so much about, oh, they need to add up to a -1. I just start listing my numbers. And then once I do that, then I'll go back and say, okay, what do they need to add up to? Oh, they need to add up to a -1. And then I kind of do it from there. Okay. Let's see. So y'all, we got a couple more to do here. I'm just kind of scrolling to see what else we got. Yeah, there's a few more here. Okay. So let's do this, y'all. Let's see, where are we? Here we go. Okay, same thing here, guys. I'm going to go through the process, and I'm going to take 15 times 2. That's 30. Okay. So look, y'all, again, just like I did before, 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. I don't even know what the middle number is. Ah, there it is. It's 11, right? Which one's going to give me an 11? that one right there. But again, I still just went through this process first, y'all. So look, 15x squared plus 5x plus 6x plus 2, okay? So right here, I'm going to say, look, let me take out a 5 and let me take out an x. So look, y'all, 5 goes into 15 3 times. 5 goes into 5 1 time, okay? And then over here, y'all, I can say, look, what goes into both? The number 2. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 2 1 time. Those guys match up, 3x plus 1. And I'm still left, y'all, with a 5x and a plus 2. Okay. All right. Y'all, for the next one here, let's try this guy here and let's see what we end up with. Okay. So look, y'all, right here, I'm going to multiply. 2 times 5 is 10. Again, remember, y'all, I'm just going to go like this. 1 and 10, 2 and 5. 10's a nice one because there's not a lot of options here, right? Y'all, we want these numbers to add up to a negative 7. So look, why don't we do that? And that's still my positive 10, right? So here, y'all, I'm going to write it 2x squared, a minus 2x, a minus 5x, and a positive 5, okay? So y'all, right here, what can we take out of both? Hey, they both got a 2 and an x, right? So if I took out the 2 here, we had 2 x's. We took away one of them. We still got an x. 2 goes into 2 1 time, okay? And then over here, y'all, see a negative. So first thing I'm going to do, negative. 5 is the number that goes into both. If I take away the negative 5 from here, y'all, I still got an x. Positive 5 divided by negative 5, y'all, is a minus 1. Okay. Look, those guys match up. X minus 1. And this guy here and this guy here, boom, 2x minus 5. Okay. All right. Y'all, I'm going to go ahead and skip this next problem, but I want to do these guys here. Okay. So this next part, guys, every time I teach this section, these problems here, they're not difficult at all, y'all. They're just like coincident type problems, okay? So there's something called perfect square trinomials, okay? So look, y'all, the number in front of my x squared is a 1. Am I going to do anything different? Not at all. I'm going to say 1 times 16 is 16. What are the numbers that multiply to 16? Well, 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4. Excuse me. I'm trying to find the pair, y'all, that are going to add up to 8. Positive 4 and positive 4, right? So look, y'all, we're going to write x squared plus 4x plus another 4x plus 16. So out of here, y'all, I can take out an x, and I'm left with an x plus 4. Out of there, I can take out a 4, and I'm still left with an x plus 4. Okay. So look, here's my common factor. We got an x plus 4. And once we take that out, hey, guess what? We're left with another x plus 4. So we're just going to call that guy x plus 4 squared. That's the only thing that's different about this problem, is that we did it exactly the same way, y'all. And what we found out was, oh, look, by coincidence, we got the same factor twice. I never really put too much emphasis on that. Like, okay, no big deal, nothing special. But that's really all that happened there, y'all. Okay. All that happened was we got the same number twice. Okay. Y'all, I'm going to do the same thing for this next one. Okay. So again, I'm going to go through my process. I'm going to take my first number times my last number. 4 times 25 is 100. Okay. 100 is bigger though. So look, y'all, we got 1 and 100. We got 2 and 50. We got 4 and 25. And we got 5 and 20. Those are all the numbers that I know. Oh, and 10 and 10, right? That multiply to 100. Okay. Y'all, we're looking for the pairs that are going to add up to 20. Boom, there they are. Okay, so let's do this. 4x squared plus 10x plus 10x again plus 25. So let's see, what can we take out of here? We can take out a 2 and an x. So 2 goes in a 4 2 times. 2 goes in a 10 5 times. Okay. And then over here, y'all, there's a plus. So I'm going to put a plus. Between 10 and 25, we can take out a 5. 5 goes in a 10 2 times. 5 goes in a 25 5 times. Okay. And then from here, look, 2x plus 5. Right? There's my common factor. Oh, look, my other one is also 2x plus 5. So again, y'all, we can write this as 2x plus 5 all squared. Y'all, again, perfect square trinomials, it's just coincidence. Like, wow, we ended up with the same thing twice. Okay, nothing too special, but that's just what we ended up getting. Okay, so again, I just kind of, I always tell my students, look, it's the same kind of process, right? I didn't do anything really any different. It was just by coincidence we got the same thing twice. Okay. Yo, let's scroll down and let's try this next one. Okay. So let's take a look here, y'all. Remember, the number there is a 1. What's 1 times 81? 81. Okay. Y'all, the numbers that I know to multiply to 81 besides 1 and 81 are 3 and 27, 9 and 9. And I'm looking for the pair, y'all, that's going to give me a negative 18. So I'm going to make those both negative because I still get a positive 81, right? So look, y'all, we're going to write an x squared. We're going to write a minus 9x and another minus 9x and a positive 81. So from here, okay, there's an x. We got an x minus 9, okay? Over here, y'all, I can take out that minus 9. And I still got an x, and 81 divided by negative 9 is still a negative 9, okay? And if you notice, y'all, both those guys match up, x minus 9. And guess what? That's the same factor. So why don't we just write it as x minus 9 all squared, right? Okay. Let's see. Y'all, for this next one here, there is a typo in this problem. I'm going to fix it for us right now, y'all. This problem should read 9a squared plus 24a plus 16. Okay, that's what it should read. That was just my bad. I had a typo in the problem. All right, so y'all, I'm going to multiply 9 times 16. I'm going to grab my calculator for this because I don't know what it is. 9 times 16, 144. Okay, big number, y'all. Okay, so let me think. 1 and 144, 2 and 72, 3 and 46. Yeah, 3 and 46. Okay, 4. Yeah, 4 is going to go in there. 4 and let's see, what's divided by 4? 36. Okay, let me make sure I did the other one right too. 144 divided by 3, 48. Okay, my bad. 48. Okay, 5's not going to go in there, but 6 will. 6 and 24. Okay. 7, no. 8, probably. Let me see. 144 divided by 8, 18. 8 and 18. 9, yes. 144 divided by 9 is 16. 10, no, but 12 does. 12 and 12. Okay. Y'all, those are all the numbers that multiply to 144. Bunch of numbers there, right? Okay. Which ones are we looking for? The ones that add up to 24. Boom, there they are, 12 and 12. Y'all, 9a squared plus 12a plus 12a plus 16. Okay. So y'all, right here, I can take out a 3 and an a. And I'm still left with a 3 and an a plus 3 goes into 12, y'all, 4 times. Okay. Right over here, y'all, we can take out the number 4. 4 goes into 12 3 times. 4 goes into 16 4 times. Okay. And then, y'all, we got a 3a plus 4 from here. And look what we got, another 3a plus 4. So let's just write it as 3a plus 4 all squared, okay? All right. Y'all, I'm going to go ahead and skip the next one. It's the same type of process, okay? So I don't want to get too bogged down with that. But now, y'all, for factoring, I've been showing you that the process has pretty much been the idea of grouping, okay? There is one formula that we have to know, and it's a formula right here called the difference of squares. Okay, so the one thing I want to emphasize about this formula, y'all, it's not a difficult formula to learn, and I'm going to show you how to learn it right now. But a couple of things that we need to know. Number one, the first piece needs to be a perfect square, and so does the second one. Okay. Then the other thing we need to know, y'all, there has to be a minus in the middle. Okay. So let me show you how we're going to do this. We're going to set up two sets of parentheses, y'all, like this. Now, remember, I'm looking for two things that multiply to x squared. So I'm going to put x and x. Now, that is a perfect square, right? Because it's got an x squared. In the second spot, y'all, we're looking for what number times itself gives me 49. Y'all, if you look at your chart, along the diagonal are all the perfect squares. So look, 49 is 7 times 7, right? So I'm going to come back over here, and we're going to put 7 and 7. And y'all, one of them is minus and the other one is plus. And that's all you're going to do every single time, okay? So when I look at this next one here, 4x squared minus 25, okay? Number one, minus, has to be a minus, okay? 4x squared, what about 2x and 2x, right? Because it's a perfect square, okay? 25, what times what is 25? 5 and 5, one of them is minus, one of them is plus. And that's all you're going to do, y'all, okay? That's all we're going to do for these types of problems, okay? Y'all, let me scroll down a little bit further. Okay, now, y'all, I want you to notice this one. I'm still going to do the same thing. I'm going to set up two parentheses. But in the first spots, I'm looking for numbers that multiply to 36. Again, y'all, 36 is a perfect square. Look, it's right here. 6 and 6, right? So the 6's go first because the 36 came first. One of them is minus, one of them is plus. What multiplies to x squared? X and x, right? Now, y'all, one thing I want to mention, it doesn't matter if you put the plus first and then the minus, or the minus first and then the plus. What is important in this problem is like the 36 came first, so the 6 has got to come first, okay? But if you put the plus and then the minus, or the minus and the plus, don't make any difference, okay? All right, y'all, for this one here, first thing I want you to notice before I do anything else, look what we got in the middle. We got a plus. Y'all, my formula only works when we have a minus, okay? So if we have a plus, we're going to say one of two things. We're going to say it's prime, or we're going to say it is not factorable, okay? We just can't factor that one in because there's a plus in the middle. The only way it's going to factor, y'all, is if we have a minus, okay? All right, let me scroll down because I think there's three more here that I want us to do, y'all, and then we'll take a little break, okay? Y'all, before I start doing my difference of squares here, the first thing I want you to notice, y'all, I can divide both those numbers by 9. And we can also take out an x squared. So we're going to take out a 9x squared. Now, let's do this, y'all. Look, so 9 goes in 81 9 times. We used to have 4 x's. We took away 2. Still left with 2. 9 goes into 36, y'all, 4 times, okay? Y'all, just like I did before, I'm going to write this 9x squared right here, okay? Now, I'm going to look at the problem that we got inside. We got a 9x squared minus 4, right? So let's do this, y'all. What times what's going to give me 9x squared? Well, 3x and 3x, right? What times what's going to give me 4? A minus 2 and a plus 2. And then we're done, okay? So, again, y'all, before I got started, we could factor out that greatest common factor, and so that's what we did, okay? Y'all, I'm going to do the same thing here, right? I'm going to use my difference of squares formula. If that's a 25x squared, 5x, and 5x, okay? If that's a 144y squared, 12y, 12y, one of them minus, one of them plus. Again, y'all, one thing I want to emphasize, along my diagonal in my multiplication table are all my perfect squares, 1, 4, 9, 16, right? Look, here's 144, 12, and 12, okay? So you can see all those numbers there. Again, one of the nice things about the multiplication table, right? Okay. Y'all, for the next one that we're going to do here, again, the first thing I want to notice is we can take out a 2. 9r squared minus 4. Y'all, I'm going to bring that 2 down here, okay? Here I have a 9r squared minus 4. So y'all, I'm going to do this. If that's a 9r, I'm going to put a 3r and a 3r. If that's a minus 4, I'm going to put a minus 2 and a plus 2. And we're done, okay? All right, so y'all, let's do this. Let's take a little break, and then we'll come back and do the stuff with the rational expression stuff, okay? So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and stop hitting record. Yeah, stop it.